Howdy doody. Welcome to episode 152 of TDI. This is Dr. O on the horn, energized, ready to roll with an absolutely jacked up. Shout out Tom Jackson. Check up this week. I am joined by the one and only Ricky Flicks, my best friend, my co-host. I need to add that. How are you, my friend? Let's talk movies.
Most anticipated movie of 2024, Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I
Put it on the board.
I don't even, I want to do some more intros. I had a very funny story I wanted to tell, but I think I'm just going to skip it. Let's get right to it, Ricky Flex. All right, Hugh Jackman officially returning to the role of Logan for Deadpool 3, something teased in Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, okay? Constant tweets and social media posts from Ryan Reynolds hacking fun at Hugh Jackman. The movie's going to release, as you said, 2024. We're looking at September 6th. We're looking at a phase, what? This is phase 6. We're going to be same time, same fall into winter as Fantastic Four. It's going to be directed by Sean Levy. We already knew that. What is he known for? Stranger Things, Free Guy, The Adam Project, frequent collaborator with Ryan Reynolds. What do you think, man? Is this a W? Or is this a W? We're getting Hugh Jackman in the MCU?
It's a W for fans that we get to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman on the screen together. If this never happened, this would be one of the all-time like what ifs. You know what I mean? What ifs in superhero lore.
Mm-hmm.
And they hinted at it many, many times, right? You had the Deadpool 2 post-credit scene where Deadpool kills the 09 X-Men Origins Deadpool, right? You had the hints of the cross-country road trip of Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and Deadpool plot details where they would recount different like timeline of events for a story. This, I think we're cooking up something. And again, now we got a director that has a long-standing relationship now with Ryan Reynolds. Not everything I think they do together is gold, but other people would say differently. I think it's a good matchup for Deadpool. And you still got the writers. You still got the same writers for Deadpool, the same pair that did Spider-Head earlier this year, but also
Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, dude.
So this is all lining up to be the blockbuster movie event of 2024. It's just 2 years away. That's tough.
So I think we take it as jokes when, like, all these years Reynolds has been pushing Hugh Jackman to finally do a movie with him. I think we should have taken him more seriously. I think just like the nature of Ryan Reynolds, the way he acts, even in his movies, even as Deadpool, we're skeptical of whatever he does. He teases, he pokes fun. Deadpool 1, he puts the paper copy of Hugh Jackman's face right over his own at the very end, in like one of the most I guess sentimental moments of Deadpool, but it just shows the affection he has for Hugh Jackman, and I think it's pretty reciprocal. I think Hugh Jackman, like the videos that have come out where he is with Reynolds and they're poking fun and they're saying, okay, this is going to be the plot of our movie. Then it goes completely drawn out from all the music that's in the background. It has me so jacked, and I didn't think I was going to feel this way. It feels a little hypocritical because we were in the same boat of saying, like, okay, Joker was great as a one-off film. It's great if Joaquin doesn't return to the role. He was great. He wins Best Actor. Let's not see a Joker 2. And we kind of came around on that as well. As soon as we get Lady Gaga in there, and we're hearing this, I guess, murmurs that it's going to be from her perspective as opposed to Joker and Arthur Fleck's perspective in the sequel. And Todd Phillips returning, right, to direct. Like, all of a sudden, it kind of, they get us. Here, there's a lot of outcry saying Logan was a perfect send-off. Leave the character as is. It feels very similar. But I gotta say, it's just the idea of having these two alongside each other, no matter what the adventure is, road trip or not. I think they balance each other out perfectly. It's not just about the comic books. I think it goes beyond that. It's more about the chemistry of the actors. And I think they've wanted to do this for so long. And it it could go wrong. It could go wrong because it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're going to try and, like, obviously Deadpool itself coming over, right? This R-rated comedy action movie, and this character that Ryan Reynolds has been so hands-on with, is it going to be the same? But now you're bringing in Logan, right? Who's most known, right? Notoriety-wise, obviously you got the years and years upon X-Men, but what was like the climax? What was the apex of that character? Logan, R-rated drama that's like basically nominated. It was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. To get these two together, I just hope that Feige's hands off on this one. Let Reynolds cook. I just can't describe how pumped I am for this. And it goes against everything this podcast has stood for in terms of, like, yes, it's a perfect project. Let it be. But there's just something about it. I need to see it.
Yeah, your question to me earlier that, like, is this good for the MCU? Or something like that. And I wanted to focus on the duo here because this is Hollywood today. Like, you're getting in other people's movies. Like, your friends are in a movie, you're bringing them on board. What did we say with Moon Knight? Ethan Hawke saw Oscar Isaac in the cafe, and Oscar Isaac was like, "You want to be in Moon Knight?" Like, this has just been in the works for 10 years, and it's just like, oh, it's finally happening. Great. What makes me nervous is what you said there near the end, where you're like, Kevin Feige, be hands off. Number one, that's impossible. Impossible. Yes, it will be R-rated. Yes, it's going to be funny, have the same quirks and isms, but the actual implications with the movie, no way he's letting that be. No way is he not going to be hands-on for that.
Ricky.
Just to start. And especially in this video with Hugh Jackman, the second one, when they're both like, thank you, Kevin Feige. That's like, Kevin Feige's all in on this, and he's going to be all hands-on this.
I don't think so.
I
really don't. Because we're like, later on the checkup, we have so much MCU news that has been going through the pipeline on today's checkup. But we've been hearing rumors like Blade's having a troubling shoot, or not even a shoot, just like a buildup, and like pre-production wise, Mahershala Ali's frustrated.
Not
and Kevin
there yet.
Feige, the quote in the report, right, regarding Blade is that Kevin Feige has been stretched too thin. I think that he views Deadpool, they could do whatever they want just based on the nature of the character and based on how Ryan Reynolds understands the character. Ryan Reynolds probably understands Deadpool better than Kevin Feige. And I think that with the idea of the multiverse, I don't think he's looking at potentially Wolverine as the Wolverine for the future of the MCU. But it's an opportunity to ingratiate the character. Okay, he does exist. The multiverse does exist. Bring him in Secret Wars, please. I need him alongside Tobey Maguire. But I think it does take the pressure off the next Wolverine if there's already one that's in the universe. Okay, it's saying, okay, yep, he's on his last legs. Let's bring in the new one, rather than all that pressure being on this new guy who's going to be in his own series, in his own movie, right? I think it's just good to have Hugh Jackman kind of almost passing the torch within the MCU. I think that actually might work better than just having someone fresh come off the bench and all of a sudden interacting with Reynolds as Deadpool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't disagree with anything you said. I think you made a nice argument, a nice little pitch there. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Kevin Feige, and it's just not in his nature to not be hands-on. Now, I agree with you that, again, what did I say? I think he's going to let the writers cook. He's going to let Ryan Reynolds cook. They're going to let Deadpool be Deadpool. But the implications, the impact, how it connects to the universe, because he wants this connected to the universe. He does. And just what you said there with just passing the torch of a Wolverine, that's already a huge implication that Kevin Feige is going to be like, that's my final call. So there's no way, no how that Kevin Feige won't have the final say on not like what the story's going to be about or the quirky jokes or connections, themes within the movie. No, that's not what I'm saying. And it's going to be a good movie because I think it's going to be like that. But actually how it's going to connect to everything, That's not the writer's decision. That's not Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's decision. So let's just not get it twisted here. Let's not say, oh, like Kevin Feige spread too thin. Look at the disaster that Blade is right now. We'll get to it. The disaster that Blade is right now. Spread too thin. Resources are thin. We have visual effects and VFX people on protests, boycotting, whatever you want to say. He's going to have the final say. But just to spin this back once again, Hugh Jackman, they said in this video that Logan, this is completely separate, right? So they're trying to calm us down, right? Yeah, probably a variant or something like that, right? Okay, fine. I just don't understand why like that matters, because what I think is, no, the whole point of Logan was like, we're not just saying goodbye to the character, we're saying goodbye to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That was for me, that was like the sad part, you know, like almost 20 years of Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine, and that was going to be his send off. Not Wolverines will always superhero movies. Guess what? They get remade. Characters come back, right? Look at Spider-Man. It's already been done 3 times in 20 years, and 4 times we count Miles Morales. But what I'm saying is just that was a goodbye to Hugh Jackman. So now that's officially broken. Okay. I'm fine with it because this is a unique circumstance. But don't go saying that this is totally separate because we're not ruining Logan. No, you are diminishing Logan a little bit, as in not as a movie, but the impact it had and lasting legacy of it, you are impacting. So I don't like that argument whatsoever.
I will say, like, Logan was a great send-off, but it did not feel as connected to the previous movies. It felt very much almost like a standalone project taking place right all the way in 2029. Professor X is not the Professor X that we knew.
Why.
We have new characters. I know, I get it, right? But that movie's going to stand the test of time. How many X-Men movies are nominated for Oscars? How many? Do you even consider that an X-Men movie? Like here, I'm just saying, like, this, first of all, Hugh Jackman in a video today saying like he has total control over what he does. Like this has definitely, like, Ryan Reynolds has been through like the absolute like churner, like trying to think of projects that can ingratiate Logan into his own movie, whether it's the MCU or not. Like I don't think the MCU is a huge part of this unless he's in Secret Wars, because it almost feels like that's inevitable. If you're going to be in the MCU, you're going to be in Deadpool 3, therefore you're going to be in Secret Wars. But it felt that was the one character we always wanted to see in the MCU. And if we have any criticisms of these projects, these TV shows, it doesn't feel like Kevin Feige has been as hands-on. If he's more hands-on, I think it actually bodes like well for the project. Like I don't envision him being very hands-on with She-Hulk. Right? It doesn't have a grander effect or impact on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Here, this one probably doesn't have a grander effect either. It's just a great introduction. And Kevin Feige has talked about how much this project means to the MCU, even though there hasn't been many updates on it. He's talked about how these movies come in threes, just whatever, even outside the MCU. Movies come in trilogies if you're doing a franchise type of like project, right? He said, we do big things for the third movie. Spider-Man No Way Home, we're bringing in 3 different Spider-Men. Okay. Captain America Civil War is pretty much a sequel to Avengers Age of Ultron. You got Thor Ragnarok was a total reinvention of the character. Hulk's being implemented. Here, Deadpool. How can we get the most excitement for this movie and still show that we are leaving control to Ryan Reynolds for the most part, and right, Warnick and Reese, the writers of Deadpool? It's by having Logan still like the one that they're sought after. And I'm so excited because this is not just Patrick Stewart showing up for 10 minutes in Multiverse of Madness. The logo for Deadpool 3 has a claw going through Deadpool's logo. Like he is going to be side by side with him, right? So I know, I get it. It's a send-off that Logan has, but this has been something, like if there wasn't going to be a Logan, this is the next best thing in terms of a send-off for Hugh Jackman, no?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. But yeah, I'm just saying, like,
I'm just pumped for it, you know?
Yeah, of course. And I'm just spinning this around because I think that we have to look at all angles of this, because I think the internet is just not taken into account because of the excitement levels. It's like we're just having a barrier over reality, at one point. I guess that's why another reason why I'm bringing it up. But one last thing I'll bring up that I think that I'm shocked that we haven't talked about yet is the yellow suit.
It's coming. It's got
The
to be
yellow
coming.
suit. That's pretty remarkable. And I feel like in a Deadpool type environment, the yellow suit will play well. I think in the old X-Men regime, right, the
Feel weird.
franchise, it didn't feel it. You know, like it would have felt
They
corny.
all have the same suits, and
Yeah, like
like
they're a
he would be the
team. Like
outsider. He is the outsider, but
Logan,
like
yeah, exactly. This feels like this is the time to bring it out, right? He's gonna be the only X-Men, really. There's other mutants, yeah. But like, and by the time that this comes out, like, who knows what's gonna happen? But this feels like the time to bring it out, separate yourself from that other franchise as the MCU's Wolverine with the suit. So I think that is like a pretty major and a big statement once again, to separate yourself from the old franchise. So this biggest movie of 2024, in my opinion, as of right now, and I, it they can't screw it up. They've talked about how important Deadpool is, and now to bring in Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, it's going to be big. And actually, one last thing is that now I'm confused with the Deadpool franchise because now it's like, okay, you have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine here, so I feel like if you bring Cable back, that's just too much. So he's probably gone.
I don't know.
He's probably a
I don't know
goner.
what you do. Maybe they don't bring it back and they just make a meta joke about it. Now he's like Thanos and things like that. I could see that happening. Domino, it just seems like there's so much left on the table for that character and such great actors. Like Zazie Beetz, Josh Brolin. Are you going to leave him on the table? I don't think so, dude. I really don't.
They'll probably incorporate him, but like Josh Brolin playing like third fiddle, like after he was second
That's
fiddle.
great. That's great.
I
He
know, but
was first fiddle, dude.
yeah, whatever you want to call it. Like I just think that's like it's not a backhand slap to the face, because it's like, oh, everyone's been waiting for this, so you understand it. But at the same time, it's like, hey, Deadpool 2 is arguably better than Deadpool 1. A lot of people say that. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like I was great, and now it's like, oh, I'm in the back. I'm not just in the back seat. I'm in the back seat. I'm in like the back of the U-Haul.
He probably doesn't like. It's going to be hard for Josh Brolin to be an MCU movie as an audience member and just not think of Thanos and to see him in the background like as a third, fourth, right, a secondary character. It's like, man, it'll just be wild to see. But he had his moment. He did. One of the greatest cinematic like runs in history as Thanos. But I think they didn't anticipate something like this happening. Deadpool, it seems like they're very much in the moment, especially by the jokes they make in the movie, and they kind of just go with the flow. I think they'll just make it happen. They'll make it seem more natural than the way it is, and they'll just make it funny. But I did want to talk about the suit. Like, a lot of people are drawing comparisons to like No Way Home, bringing back Maguire and Garfield, bringing back like obviously Hugh Jackman now. Like, if he put like, I think he's not going to wear the suit the entire time. I could see Final Battle, like whatever that last moment is, and it's a 2-on-1 or 2 versus whatever, Deadpool and Wolverine, he's going to present him with the suit. And then you're going to get that classic, like shake off from, or like brush off the shoulder from Logan saying, I ain't wearing that. There might be a moment where he doesn't put it on. You know, he's just like, that's just the character. He's like,
Yeah.
No, that's silly. It's silly as shit. I don't get out of here with that, you know? And then Reynolds is like, well, I asked. And then those go on kicking ass. You know, I could see that happening. There's just so many possibilities. And we've always wanted to see these guys play off each other. R-rated superheroes that are now being introduced in the MCU. We talk about different flavors coming to the MCU. We got a Halloween special coming in a couple weeks with Werewolf by Night, which looks totally different from anything we've ever seen. Whether that's good or bad, who knows? But you want to talk about different R-rated buddy comedy / like gore? Bring it on. Bring it on. It's going to be sick. We have so much other MCU news to get to. Are you ready to pile on? Okay, so let's pile on. I think we talked about Blade earlier. Let's connect. So Blade is having issues, according to a recent report, much to the dismay of one Ricky Flex. His boy, Mahershala Ali, is frustrated with the process he's going through right now. Sounds very vague. The script is only 90 pages. For those who don't know, like usually a script, like one page is typically 1 minute of screen time. So we're talking about probably hour and a half movie from this 90-minute script, 90-page script. We have the director leaving, Bassam Tariq. He's now going to serve as an executive producer. And then the filming was slated to begin in November. It's presumed that's going to be pushed back. There's also lackluster action scenes that have been reported from this movie, and this kind of plays into the frustration with Marshall Ali. Feige is quote-unquote spread too thin. He can't put his eyes on this project as much as he would in the past. Maybe he's talking about future MCU. We got Fantastic Four coming, potential X-Men. We talk about Deadpool, all these TV shows. I just want to get your reaction, Ricky. I know it's negative from the trouble with Blade. Go ahead.
This is disrespectful to the great Marshall Ali. This is disrespectful. What are we doing here? Kevin Feige, get your franchise in order. Yes, Blade isn't a top 5, top 10, he's probably a C-list Marvel superhero, okay? But when you get an A-lister to play him and a cultural significant superhero ever since Wesley Snipes, this is a big project. And to treat it with this disrespect is shocking. And I'm not just blaming Kevin Feige. I'm blaming it on this director. I think that the vision wasn't there. Clearly, if there's only 2 action sequences in a superhero movie about a guy who's part vampire hunting down vampires, and it's honestly 90 pages for this origin story. 90 pages. Yeah, I'm all in for 90-minute films, but when we got an A-lister to use and a character so juicy to utilize, to put together and only come up with 90 minutes and 2 action sequences is a sign of disrespect. So going forward, what do I want to see in Blade? I have 3 directors in mind.
We came prepared.
One, we just talked about Logan, James Mangold, bring in a solid director, someone that can put a movie together. Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of origin, but he did do the Wolverine in 2013. And some of his movies, he's done a wide variety. You know what? Just bring him in stability to the project. Work with the A-lister, get it done.
High batting average, dude.
High batting average. Exactly. 2, vampire movie a little bit. Add some action sequences. Who do we add? Who was just in the MCU? Added to the MCU? Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi. Bring him back, right? Doctor Strange, he said he's going to work with him again.
That's good.
He's proven that he can come in the middle of a project, right? And make it his own a little bit. The second half of Doctor Strange felt more like him. Now that they're scrapping this and kind of redoing this, maybe a whole Sam Raimi project with Blade and Marshall Ali will work. That's my favorite pick. This third pick I know will never happen, but I could picture it really well. Restore the Snyderverse in Blade.
Oh my God. No,
Zack Snyder would be good for this project.
I don't know.
This would be a Zack Snyder project.
Sorta. I'm not really sure. You know, I feel like can you imagine if Snyder went from DC, the disrespect he got, right? Gets his HBO Max movie, also seemingly disrespected by the way they're talking about, was it a mistake or not that they let him have the Snyder cut? And the fan reaction was positive, but people look at the fan base so negatively. What if he just totally redeemed himself with Blade? That's interesting. Sam Raimi's perfect, bro. Sam Raimi could do wonders with this character. I love that you brought that up. Clip it, Dr. O. What draws my attention here, first of all, you brought up James Mangold. I thought he had a hilarious reaction tweet to this Logan and Deadpool news, and he shows the gif of Wolverine just absolutely biting the dust at the end of Logan. It just, to me, he made a tweet afterwards saying he was joking, but it was a savage tweet. He was just yo, he died. Whatever you guys, the context that the fans got was what you're making it seem like whatever you do right now, it doesn't matter. He died in my movie. Right. This is just a bonus. It will never live up to what I've done. That's what I was gathering. I'm that's savage. And it's just a total disrespect to the MCU. It might have been good. It's got to be in the conscious, right? It's got to be deep inside his head right now. It's got to be what he's thinking. He's saying he's joking, but I think he just wasn't anticipating the backlash from the MCU audience, one of the strongest fan bases on Twitter. What also grabs my attention here is Mahershala Ali is frustrated with the process. What does that mean exactly? Is he talking about the script itself, the action sequences, but is he talking about also the Marvel process where Feige has to overlook things he's not able to, draw his attention to this project due to the many, right, phase 5 and 6 projects that are coming. Secret Wars is on the way. So is he just not giving attention to this? Maybe the director here leaves. Maybe it was too much for them to bear. And it sucks that Mahershala Ali is this frustrated. I don't know his connection with the character. I know he came forward to Kevin Feige saying he wants to be Blade, which tells me he has an understanding somewhat. Can we agree? He has an understanding somewhat. So I
completely.
Yeah. So you have to have a passion for it. I have heard other rumors about this project, Ricky Flex. You ready to hear this? He nods his head. So this movie is reportedly taking place from like the early 20th century all the way to 1980. It's in the it's going back into the history of the MCU, going 8 decades, which makes sense for like a vampire type project. It makes like perfect sense. Maybe the vision is not unison right now. Not everyone's on the same wavelength, but they just got to figure out the director. They got to figure out the vision because this is a key character because of who's playing the character. And we've already had Moon Knight. We got Werewolf by Night. There's murmurs of a Midnight Suns project coming out sooner rather than later. Potentially Doctor Strange in the mix. You know who want to direct Midnight Suns is also Sam Raimi, right? Just give him full control of this small sector of the MCU, this small niche corner, you know? He's doing like just all the horror stuff in the MCU. Just let him go. Let him go crazy because this is a different type of project. All these are different projects than what we've seen in the MCU. Just let him go nuts. But it is troubling because when this was announced, this was my favorite announcement from the Comic-Con from a few years back. This is one where we found out like Jane Foster's coming back as Lady Thor. I was a little skeptical of that. Remained skeptical upon seeing Thor: Love and Thunder. But that was my most anticipated. Oh my God, give us Blade, give us Blade. And Eternals was announced too with that whole cast. But we see how that went. We don't want that going the same route. We don't. Give us a director, set it right so we can start filming this by the end of the year.
Yeah, and when I saw frustrated with the process, I took it not as the way you took it, but that kind of makes more sense with the Feige and MCU process. But I took it as just the director.
It could be that too. Yeah.
And actual just working, like the actual work. And that's why like I pitched James Mangold, who just knows how to put a movie together no matter what, highly reliable, and works with A-listers all the time, right? So someone that Mahershala Ali could just go and be like, yep, yeah, let's do this. Like, yeah, we connect.
Right.
Father knows how to treat like an A-lister and also put a movie together, themes, symbolism, everything that you want to put in a movie. So that and an origin movie that's impactful. So that's why I mentioned that. And same with Sam Raimi, who knows how to fix a bad process. Obviously, Doctor Strange, which isn't the best movie, but it could have been a disaster. But he made it salvageable. So that with a horror element, that's why Sam Raimi was like, for me, the obvious choice. My number one choice for this.
That's why you're here, Ricky Flex. What a recommendation. What was I gonna say? I guess we can move on to other parts of the MCU because there is so much news that has come in the past hour or so that we added to the checkup. Don Cheadle, Armor Wars is no longer going to be a Disney Plus series. It's going to be a movie. Okay, Ricky. This is a movie. This is a movie now. I was like stuttered because I couldn't believe it. It wasn't put on phase 5. It wasn't put on the phase 6 timeline at Comic-Con at D23. Are you buying high or selling low on the idea of Armor Wars as a movie?
So I'll say this. Now this makes sense why it wasn't on the timeline there at Comic-Con or whatever it was. Because they didn't know if it was going to be a movie or show, and that changes the whole landscape of timelines because it takes different amounts of time to film these things and put everything in order, affairs in order and everything. So that makes sense. So I'm going to take that back. And then I've called this it's like a future bust.
You did as a show.
But it was a show. Now that it's being turned into a movie, I can't necessarily say this is going to be a bust.
Wow.
I won't say it's going to be good though. I won't. I
You
need to
said
see
Captain
more.
America 4 is going to be a bust. You said that.
I'm still on that take. I'm still on
That's
that
a
take.
movie as well. It's just because you can't live up to the predecessor. Is that what we're
Can't.
thinking there?
And what is going on? Like the rumors surrounding that movie are weird. Weird. Do
The
not
leader.
trust it whatsoever. So I need to see more before I can change that take from bust. This one is barely above the bust, where it's like, okay, Don Cheadle's overrated as an actor to carry this Armor Wars, whatever. I need to see more of the plot. I know you're gonna bring up whatever because you're much more bullish on this than me. But
No.
right now it's a wait and see. I'm not buying low, but if I had to pick between buy low or sell high, I'd buy low a very small amount.
Terrence Howard, punch in the air right now, bro. Punch in the air right now. Who knew he was going to get his own superhero movie? I think Armor Wars is going to be very similar to Captain America 4. I think they're going to be very similar. And the fact that this is made from a TV show into a movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what does that tell me as an audience member? This is going to mean more to the overall timeline. It's going to be very impactful, the events that stem from Armor Wars. And because of that, your anticipation, I'm buying low here, bro. I'm buying low here because it shows we have something special here. I got to see when this is coming out, though. I got to see when it's coming out. What is this relation to Secret Wars? I think that's everyone's thought with every announced project now, especially if it wasn't on the 5 or 6 slate that was presented at Comic-Con and at D23. If it's not on that slate, it means there's something special planned to go along with it. Who knows what type of characters are going to be introduced in Armor Wars or brought back?
Thing. That's my problem. It's like, this being turned into a theatrical event makes this like, oh, this is probably impactful to the MCU.
Yes.
But Don Cheadle cannot, like, this is his movie apparently. That's why it's like, okay, well, you're not going to bring in like someone bigger than Don Cheadle.
It's going to be like Captain America Civil War. That's my take. That's what I thought. But like Captain America 4 was going to be.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
Like, because why? He can't. Because why? Because James Rhodes is not interesting enough.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's going to be surrounding characters everywhere in Armor Wars.
There better be.
You know it's going to be politically related. You know it's going to be politically related. It's not going to be Sokovia Accords, but something's going to be happening where it's going to cause a bunch of heroes to gather together. And it will expand upon the character. It's almost like Secret Invasion is for Nick Fury. That's going to be what Armor Wars is for Don Cheadle, someone who hasn't gotten much love in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and hasn't gotten the same screen time as a lot of these heroes. A very much thought of secondary character, never the lead. Let's surround him with a lot of pieces, a lot of great actors, and then put us on the path to Secret Wars. Does that not make sense?
It makes sense, but like you compare it to Civil War, that's still a Captain America movie. This is a Don Cheadle roadie movie. Like,
how many movies has Don Cheadle been in?
Yeah, but he's been like the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th person. Like, it's if this is an Avengers movie,
for guest appearance in an MCU series.
Ridiculous. They better not. If this is what you're saying it is, then obviously my take changes. But don't. I see the line here in our checkup doc right now saying Don Cheadle's Armor Wars. It's not Don Cheadle's then.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is not.
Dude, you don't disrespect Don Cheadle.
I will disrespect Don
Cheadle.
I will disrespect
I just watched Boogie Nights. You don't disrespect
I will disrespect him. I will.
You don't disrespect Don Cheadle.
He's a good actor. Ricky. Overrated? Yes.
No.
Yes.
Ricky. No, he's not well suited for a superhero project. I agree. But you saying he's overrated in general, blasphemous. You can't do that.
I don't think so.
One of the great secondary characters, and you're going to dismiss Hotel Rwanda on us like that? You're going to dismiss.
That's the one.
No Sudden Move? No Sudden Move?
Eh.
Ricky.
We talked about No Sudden Move. You remember.
That was a good review.
Have you rewatched it since?
We didn't like his voice. I remember that. It was very gravelly. You unknowingly just did an imitation when you just grabbed the voice like that.
What do you think? I knowingly
smoked 3 million cigarettes before shot that.
Final thoughts here. If this isn't a Don Cheadle's Armor Wars, but just Armor Wars, and it's like a war, is like a Civil War, then yeah, I'll come down from my take. But if this is a Don Cheadle led movie with lower MCU characters surrounding him, then why would my anticipation levels be high?
This to me, what I'm saying, by this becoming a movie, I think Captain America 4 goes lower in my rankings. Armor Wars goes higher because both of those can't be like made like a bunch of major like MCU heroes coming into a project. If I was to bet one of those projects will feature a slew of MCU heroes, it's going to be Armor Wars because
Crazy.
Rhodey he's not as big of a character as Captain America. People are gonna go see Captain America because it's Captain America, right? No one's gonna go see Armor Wars because of Rhodey. I agree. 100%. We're on the same wavelength. But this is the fact that it's now. We saw like She-Hulk. We're gonna get to it. How meaningless it is to the MCU timeline. How Moon Knight was so meaningless to the MCU timeline. Like WandaVision obviously meant something because it led to multiverse of madness. Spoiler alert. But these last few series, it hasn't been anything. So it's just like when it's like they're looking at the process of deciding what's a show, what's a movie. Okay, this has very much like every MCU fan needs to see this. Put it in theaters.
If it's what you're saying it is, then I'm going to come down from this take. But
so you're selling high or you're buying low?
I said like you have to buy low because it's low.
Okay,
it is low. It's not high. Well, because on the face of it, as of right now, because the way you're looking at it is not how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this is a Don Cheadle Rhodey movie. That's how I'm looking at it.
No way it's going to be that.
I know you say no way, but we don't know that for sure. That's what
as an MCU fanatic, yes, I do know that. Like, come on,
they've done some weird stuff.
Don Cheadle looked like he could barely move in Endgame and Infinity War. Like, I don't anticipate he's going to be doing all-out action stunts for an entire movie. He needs surrounding pieces. Like, for example, Ironheart's going to be huge for Armor Wars. Like, Ironheart's going to introduce, like, obviously Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is going to introduce Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. And then she's getting her own series. That's going to help lead into Armor Wars. Like in Dominique Thorne, she's an electric actress. Like I do like her. Great in Judas and the Black Messiah, right? Amazing in that movie. I have high expectations for Wakanda Forever into her own series. She's joining, right? Beyond that, like we saw Rhodey in Falcon the Winter Soldier. Like Captain America will probably be in this political type of like action movie. Right? He's going to be in here. Like the Thunderbolts. Imagine if they are very much government regulated, right? So are they going to appear in Armor Wars? Like that's all possible.
We'll see. I just think that you buy low because we don't know any of that except that John Cheadle is probably the main character in this.
He is. He's obviously the main character, but also Sam Rockwell coming back to the MCU in it as a villain. Come on.
Love that.
Yes, I know you do. You love Sam Rockwell. That's why everyone loves Sam Rockwell.
That's why I took this off. Not near a bust, right? It's still near a bust, but not a bust.
But you're buying low.
But I'm not. I'm buying low.
But the price is rising. It's a movie now.
It has risen just by it being a movie. There's a huge stock jump today.
Extremely.
There's been a huge jump today.
We're
in the green.
I bought I was sort of buying on the dip. I was buying on the dip. Okay, let's move on. Last part of MCU we have to get to because this is jam-packed with MCU news along with the overall checkup. Harrison Ford is being eyed to replace William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross, the late, great William Hurt, for Thunderbolts. Do you think he's going to do it, Ricky?
That's a great question.
Because it's been offered. It's been offered, but he hasn't taken it.
Harrison Ford's been in the news lately. Obviously, Indiana Jones 5, that's in post-production, right? So that's already done, right? And then he only has that other, like, I think Apple TV Plus series coming out. And he's working on that now. But after that, it's like he's 80 years old and he's obviously slowing down, right? Slowing down work. But if you had to pick a replacement for William Hurt in this, he's honestly perfect. It's crazy. It's honestly perfect. And I was shocked to see this. And again, there's no like proof here yet. This is literally just a rumor. Like a valid rumor, you know? But if they did this, the MCU, that would be just a home run and a half. And if you did do Harrison Ford, no, like rest in peace to William Hurt, recently died this year, an unbelievable actor, two-time Oscar nominee, maybe 3. They would have to incorporate Harrison Ford more and this character more. They would, because it's Harrison Ford. It's freaking Indiana Jones.
Yes.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's Indiana Jones. It's Han
Thunderbolt
Solo.
Ross, dude. You know what Thunderbolt Ross becomes? It's Red Hulk.
80-year-old Red Hulk.
He's doing Indiana Jones 5. He's going to do. He can put on some CGI.
It's different.
The MCU action sequences for someone that's like playing a 500-pound monster is also different. You know, I think it's actually easier to do Indiana Jones 5 than it is to be the Red Hulk. Right? He doesn't even have to do anything. He just has to be like that. Just make sure we can scan your face, buddy, and you're there. This is perfect. Harrison Ford is the greatest action star in the history of movies. We are talking Indiana Jones. We are talking Han Solo. What major action movie franchise is he missing on his resume? It's the MCU. He's doing Indiana Jones. There's no reason for him to say no. He doesn't have to do all these action sequences unless he all of a sudden becomes the villain for Thunderbolts, which would be a crazy turn of events as Red Hulk. But this is a. Some people are going to hate on it because it's a recasting. I got to calm down. My blood pressure is at 120 right now.
Armor Wars.
By low. But I'm saying Harrison Ford is basically he could do the same things William Hurt did in that role. He's not going to get an ample amount of screen time, I wouldn't think, but it is a necessary character, right, to run this anti-hero team alongside Madam Hydra, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think that dynamic would be amazing. Robert Redford, he could do a Robert Redford and like Winter Soldier type of thing, dude. He can do the same thing. He doesn't have to put his heart and soul into it. He's got to be able to put on a serious face in the midst of all this silliness and wackiness happening around him. And like Harrison Ford is like he's not afraid to do these like superheroes, action franchises, things like that. But he also dismisses them. Like when he talks about like the idea of Star Wars, like fans ask him questions, he just responds like, "I don't care." And I don't care if he thinks that for the MCU. I know he thinks that for the MCU. If you asked him like how many MCU movies have you seen, he might say like half a movie. He might say I saw half of Iron Man when it came out.
Maybe not. Yeah. Like look at Christian Bale. Like he's the same realm where like they're too big, where it's like
iconic,
really don't
just
care.
Iconic.
Yeah, and again, I guess
brings legitimacy to the MCU.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So like Robert Redford, a better overall actor, like not an actor, like he's an unbelievable dramatic actor.
Yeah.
But I think that Harrison Ford, this fit is much better where you're looking at it. It's just like action star, older age, right? This is just and the charisma, Han Solo, Indiana Jones vibes with the older age, like mature, whatever you want to say, more mature,
not mature.
But I think it's just a perfect match, and it's undeniably like something superheroes not on his resume. I guess you could count Han Solo, but at the end of the day, like if you want to stay relevant, Harrison Ford, when you're 80 and continue working, you can't do the action stunts and head Tom Clancy novel movies anymore. This is what you do. So if he does it and this happens, it's great. If not, we spent way too much time talking about it.
Yeah, we got to move on. That's going to do it for the MCU corner. We got to go. There's